Hey everybody, how's it going? Today, let's take a detailed look at the all-new 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe LTZ 4x4. And while the majority of the video will focus on the 2015 Tahoe, throughout I'll also be inserting some comparison clips with the all-new 2015 Suburban to compare dimensions, passenger capabilities, as well as cargo space. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of both the Suburban and the 2015 Tahoe. We'll start up, show the engine, get an exhaust clipping over the performance data, as well as show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior as well as exterior. And before we begin, I'd like to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Flo Chevrolet, located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for allowing me to come out and film the all-new 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe and Suburban. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up. Let her run. As you can see, the LTZ does come standard with remote start. Now available for the first time ever on Tahoes and standard on LTZ models is an all-new smart key access system. So, all you have to do is just take the key fob, make sure it's in your pocket, and you're able to lock and unlock the vehicle by locating the chrome accented touch buttons on all four of the door handles. To lock, just tap the button once, then after waiting a second, just tap it again, and once more to unlock the rest of the doors. The LTZ also features automatically deploying running boards for both sides. The exterior color is known as White Diamond Tricoat, featuring a two-tone cocoa and dune leather interior. And along with that smart key system, the LTZ also features remote and push button ignition. To start, all you have to do is just put your foot on the brake and hit the chrome accented button in the dash to start. Beautiful. The 2015 Tahoe now features electric assist, speed proportional rack and pinion power steering, and an all-new 4-spoke supple leather-wrapped steering wheel, very similar to the one found in the Silverado. It also features color accent stitching coming all the way around, adding to a little bit of extra touch of quality. Not to mention a bit of brushed silver trim coming across the airbag cover and surrounding the multifunction controls, which are also now covered in a soft membrane material. LTZs also come standard with a heated steering wheel. The Tahoe also features a standard 6-speed, hydromatic, electronically controlled automatic gearbox fed through a traditional column shifter. Across the edge, you also have manual shiftability by just tipping the gear selector down to the M mode and using the plus and minus on the gear selector, not to mention a tow haul mode that races the shift points for better performance while towing. All 2015 Tahoes also feature a standard backup camera. On this LTZ, there's also a pretty cool vibrating seat mechanism built into the driver's seat. It vibrates corresponding to whether something's approaching you from the left backside or the right backside or straight on. And so we're going to flip on the automatic projector, optional xenon headlamps, fog lamps, as well as the hazards. All four windows are automatic down, but it's only the front two windows that are automatic up as well. And we're going to check out the exterior. The Tahoe will also chime a few times, letting you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. Last year, GM's full-size trucks, the Silverado and Sierra, were completely redesigned, paving the way in refinement and technology that really departed from their predecessors. For 2015, the entire line of full-size SUVs have also been brought up to modern standards with thorough redesigns inside and out. While trucks like the Silverado might as well be the corporate bread and butter, the traditional body-on-frame SUV is still carrying on strong. Sales have always been quite good for these vehicles, especially over the domestic and foreign competition, as GM really corners about 3/4 of this full-size SUV market. Having 3 rows of seats with off-road ability and strong towing capabilities is by far their forte, but now they're more refined than ever. It's a true example of how far these vehicles have come over the years, when Tahoes used to have identical styling to the Silverados they were based on. In fact, 2015 will be the first time the Tahoe does not share its front doors with the Silverado. The transition to separation and distinction between the models began last generation for the most part. The Silverado and Tahoe differed mostly in their fascias as well as some interior measures, but the 2015 SUVs do not share a single body panel between the new trucks. As far as styling between the SUVs themselves, they're largely the same from the doors back, aside from front fascias and other subtle styling tweaks. Where the real difference is, though, is in equipment, with the Yukon carrying more premium elements than the Tahoe. The Suburban also joins for 2015 while receiving all of the same upgrades, only in a longer package for those needing cavernous cargo space. Dimensionally, both vehicles have grown in length by 2 inches, about 1.5 inches in width, and are actually shorter by 2.5 inches for both 2- and 4-wheel drive counterparts. Weight is roughly the same depending on which trim level and equipment level you go for. Wheelbase remains the same as well for both the Tahoe and the Suburban. More on the exact dimensions in just a bit. Another fun fact is that aluminum also now makes up the hood and tailgate to help lessen any weight gain. What really sets the new gen SUVs apart though is the dramatic difference in styling, especially for Chevrolet. The body is less rounded and slab-sided than before and features more creases and dynamic wheel arches. It looks leaner while sporting a fresh front and rear end treatment with a unique if not polarizing headlamp design. The Yukon is a little bit more contemporary. Other designs were also adapted from the new Silverado to help further quieten the ride, including triple door sealing and embedding the doors in the side of the body rather than wrapping them over the top of the frame. The LTZ Tahoes come standard with an upgraded set of 20-inch polished aluminum alloy wheels wrapped in all-season tires, 275/55s at each corner. Aiding to the improved interior isolation, new felt liners also wrap all of the wheel wells like they do in the Silverado, helping absorb excess road noise. Brakes consist of 13 by 1.2 inch one-piece ventilated steel discs up front with sliding calipers, and 13.6 by 0.79 inch solid steel discs in the rear, also with sliding calipers. The brake motors themselves also resist premature rust and steering shudder under hard braking thanks to a new process called ferritic nitrocarburizing, which actually hardens the rotor surface. Being a body-on-frame SUV means the body and powertrain is bolted on a fully boxed, hydroformed steel frame and adapted for the Silverado, Tahoe, and Suburban. The suspension and chassis have similar designs to the last Tahoe, but has been heavily revised for a quieter, more controlled ride. It consists of independent double wishbone coilover shock front suspension with twin-tube dampers and 34mm hollow stabilizer bars that increase strength and decrease weight. The rear is a traditional solid axle with leaf springs and tuned dampers with revised bushings to help soak up bumps. A simple traditional setup for pure truck stuff and rugged performance. Even so, Chevy also claims that the new Tahoe has better steering and brake feel to help keep the driver more connected. The passenger compartment uses more high-strength steel as does the chassis, with revised mounting hardware to help limit the chassis shudder that was common when hitting larger potholes in some of the older models. The most significant advancement, though, is the addition of magnetic ride control for the first time and only available on the LTZ. The adaptive dampers work to reduce heave, pitch, and roll to give the best balance for ride and handling on any road surface. It uses magnetically charged fluid that adjusts the damping level proportional to the fluid's viscosity, up to 1,000 times per second, firming or relaxing it as needed to get the most stable, smooth ride a Tahoe has ever seen. Safety enhancements are also quite important for 2015. For the first time, things like forward collision alert, lane departure warning, lane change assist, rear cross traffic alert, and adaptive cruise are now available, in addition to front seat center airbags and vibrating seat indicators like I touched on earlier. There's also a host of new anti-theft technology making the vehicles much more secure than before. As far as towing capability, the Tahoe properly equipped can tow upwards of 8,600 pounds. The Suburban is actually just a little bit less at 8,300 pounds. The Tahoe's overall length is 204 inches with a width of 80.5 inches, height of 74.4 inches, and rides on a 116-inch wheelbase. Curb weight is around 5,300 pounds. The only dimensional change when comparing the Suburban is length, as the Tahoe and the Suburban have identical height and width. So the Suburban is 224 inches long and rides on a 130-inch wheelbase. Total curb weight for that, depending on how equipped, is around 5,500 pounds. So we'll go ahead and pop the hood. The 2015 Tahoe and Suburban receive an all-new engine, now part of what's known as the Ecotec 3 family. While sharing familiar displacements and based on GM's Gen 5 small block architecture, the engines consist of a 4.3-liter V6, 5.3-liter V8, and a 6.2-liter V8. The 5.3-liter V8 is currently the only one available in the Tahoe, while the V6 is only in the latest trucks, and the 6.2 is included with the Yukon Denali and future Cadillac Escalade. The new 5.3-liter shares its core structure with the outgoing 5.3, but has very little in common overall. It still features a pushrod 2-valve per cylinder design with an all-aluminum construction, but where it really makes the difference are three things, hence Ecotec 3. Variable valve timing, direct injection, and cylinder deactivation. It now produces 355 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 383 pound-feet of torque at 4,100 RPM while running on regular unleaded gas and a 5,800 RPM redline. It's also able to run on E85 with a manufacturer-claimed increase in horsepower and torque respectively to 380 and 416. Fuel economy has also improved slightly. With a 26-gallon fuel tank, expect to see between 16 city and 22 highway for the 4-wheel drive models, which is the highest of any V8 pickup, and even higher than the 4-wheel drive Ford F-150 with the EcoBoost V6. All three engines can also be turned into a V4 format at cruising speed. Probably the biggest set of improvements and refinements has been with the interior. It's more comfortable, spacious, luxurious, and is quieter than any Tahoe before it. The door frames, like I said earlier, are triple sealed with extra sound insulation, not to mention laminated glass for vastly improved cabin isolation. The materials and build quality are also light years off the previous generation, with leathers and soft vinyl covering many of the interior surface in this model. Not to mention the door panels, highlighted by wood pattern trim and LTZs. You'll also notice that storage pockets have been placed wherever possible for much added convenience. Across the door, you also have all of your controls for your power accessories, including your window lockouts and activating the rear door child locks. The mirrors are power folding in the LTZ model, and down below you have two-person memory for the driver's seat with easy exit function. As far as the seating, it's also improved for 2015 with better support as well as padding in all of the key places. Leather is standard in the LTZ model and features perforations across the middle of the seat for both the heating and ventilated function. Down below you find all of your standard power adjustments, including 4-way power lumbar for more customizability. Plenty of side airbags up top and down below for a little bit more extra protection, as well as headrests that adjust up and down, and seatbelts that are also adjustable. I mean, obviously one of the best things about the Tahoe is its full-size capabilities and fitting up to 9 passengers, and that includes the Suburban as well, properly equipped of course. But it's the way it's styled, it's the way all the materials blend together, with flowing center console and all the extra technology goodies, it finally really gives a more premium feel than before. Now like I said, this vehicle is 4-wheel drive and features the AutoTrack 2-speed active transfer case. Now this rotary knob has 4 different positions and is located to the left of the steering column. 2-wheel drive, automatic, 4-wheel drive, and 4-wheel drive low. In automatic, it remains in 2-wheel drive until the system detects wheel slippage. It automatically engages 4-wheel drive until traction is regained. Basically what this allows, it allows on-the-fly capability to switch from 2-wheel to 4-wheel drive at any speed, and adding to a bit of extra convenience. This is typically included with the max trailering group, as well as with a heavy-duty locking differential. The steering wheel is power tilt telescoping with power pedal adjustment in the LTZ model, and there's also a trailer brake controller and an automatic sunroof. Like I said, the new doors for the Tahoe are triple sealed just like the new Silverado, which give them a much more tighter closing feeling. A lot more solid than the last gen. Now the Tahoe across the model lineup can be had with a few different audio systems, but this LTZ that we have here has the top line Bose Premium Centerpoint surround sound system with the unique Audio Pilot system, adjusting the system volume and compensating for exterior and interior ambient noise. It's all fed through the newest generation Chevrolet Mylink System, a mobile media navigation telemetrics interface, and an LCD high-res touchscreen display. Side curtain airbags, hands-free Bluetooth microphones located up top, grip handle, as well as cloth-wrapped visors. All the interior illumination of the new Tahoe is also LED, giving it a nice modern touch. The rear view mirror is auto-dimming as standard, and also features your OnStar located right down below. In the top stack here, controls your interior illumination, as well as your reading lamps, like I said, all LED, power liftgate, 3-position garage home link, as well as your fully automatic sunroof. Up top here is either your sunglass container or a panoramic mirror to keep an eye on the rear passengers. And of course for the sunroof you have both sliding and tilting functions. Little wind deflector automatically pops up. As far as the Mylink system, like I touched on earlier, what basically makes it unique is how it's organized. If you're familiar with how an iPhone or an iPad or conventional smartphone is laid out, you'll catch on to the Mylink system pretty quickly as it's organized in a similar fashion. And what I mean by that, all the icons that you see here are organized in an app-style fashion. You can also download and customize them between the different menus to your personal liking, stream internet radio, and other things of that nature. So comparing the functionality to a smartphone or an iPad or so is kind of like Cadillac's Q system or Cadillac user experience. GMC also employs a version of the Mylink system in their vehicles, including the new Yukon called the IntelliLink. So how does it really compare to a smartphone or a tablet? Well, other than the app-style fashion, you can scroll back and forth between the menus just like you would be scrolling across the tablet. What's also pretty neat about the system is the hidden storage compartment behind. Just hit that button right there, and the screen automatically rises out of the dash, exposing a cloth-lined storage compartment with USB input. And for a more detailed look at the Chevrolet Mylink system, please click the annotation at the bottom of this video or in the description box below. I'll show you how all of the detailed features work, including navigation, telephone, and more. It'll take you to a 2015 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD that pretty much has the identical system as this Tahoe. As we continue down the center console, this Tahoe LTZ features a tri-zone climate control system with independent temperature adjustments for both the driver, passenger, and the middle row passengers. Temperature adjustment on either side with one-touch automatic, different zones, front and rear defrost, AC and recycling, as well as your fan speed located right in the middle. Right down below that are the rear climate controls if you wanted to control it from the front. So temperature, zones, fan speed, and little toggle switches, as well as one-touch automatic. This LTZ also features 3-stage heated as well as ventilated seating. Continuing on, the entire center console is padded with color accent stitching. There's two padded compartments here, one for storage, it houses two of the USB inputs, as well as a power outlet, and two cup holders. Large padded center console with a little storage tray up front, chrome accented handle, and a massive cargo well. You have another power outlet here, an SD card input, two USB inputs, and an auxiliary input for your iPod or other MP3 device. There's also small storage compartments on either side of the central tunnel. Now, as far as the steering wheel, the right-hand side features the controls for the driver info system, hands-free telephone and voice commands. On the left-hand side, you have your cruise control, adaptive cruise, as well as heated steering wheel settings. Radio controls are located in convenient little buttons on either side of the back of the steering wheel. This one controlling volume, and the other one go between your radio stations, as well as the tracks through your MP3 player and CD player. The driver info system in the LTZ is located in the optional 4.2-inch LCD display like I just showed you. Well, basically, using the little directional pad on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you can go between your different options. Info, audio, phone, navigation, and settings, so similar options like you would have with the Mylink system. Using the little check to make a selection. Go between different vehicle options. System information. Trip computer and fuel data. Telephone, navigation, etc. Very simple. Plus, you gotta love the new gauge cluster, also seen in the Silverado, accented by bright chrome rings, with all of your necessary gauges up top, including your voltometer, vehicle temperature, fuel, as well as oil pressure. Now, the LTZ does feature automatic rain-sensing windshield wipers. All of that is controlled here, with the rear wipers, the front wipers, lighting and turn signal, etc. Alrighty. We're going to shut her down. We'll check out the back seat. So we'll go ahead and talk about cargo space before we dive into the interior. The power liftgate is standard on both the LT and LTZ, while it is manual on the LS. The first thing you notice is that cargo space has lessened slightly for both the Tahoe and Suburban, but there's a built-in storage tray in the bottom of the floor to help compensate. The purpose behind this was to create, for the first time, fold-flat seating. Replacing the previous tumbling seat arrangement, this negates the need to have to detach and haul out the third-row seats that could be quite cumbersome if you were going to stow some larger furniture or something of that nature. So while the cargo height may be decreased, there are handy containers down below for both the Tahoe and Suburban to help keep smaller items more secured. Cargo space for the Tahoe begins at 15.3 cubic feet with all of the seats folded up. Of course, fold down the third row seat and it increases drastically to 51.6 cubic feet. Finally, folding the middle row as well expands to a still impressive 94.7 cubic feet. The nice thing about the upper trim levels is that all of these actions are completely powered with just the simple touch of a button, making it extremely more convenient than it used to be with pulling out the rear seats. As far as the Suburban, with its longer wheelbase, it starts out with more space behind the seats. It begins at 39.3 cubic feet with all the seats folded up. Fold the third row down and it expands to 76.7 cubic feet. And finally, folding the middle row as well expands to an equally impressive 121.1 cubic feet, so it can pretty much haul anything that you desire. Another nice safety feature with the automatic tailgate is the fact that if it encounters an obstruction either closing or opening, it'll automatically stop instead of pressing up against it. And if you need to stow some larger items like 2x4s, you can also release the rear glass. Now, like I said earlier, the B-pillar for the new Tahoe has actually been moved forward compared to last generation, which makes it seem like the rear doors are a lot wider, but also helps aid entry and exit for rear seat passengers. Comfort is also a lot more refined, featuring similar build quality and soft touch materials like you would find in the front, lower storage in the doors and extra pockets, as well as a little cup holder built in. The rear glass is also tinted from the factory. The rear seats themselves are also perforated, this one featuring captain's chair configuration, also with heat. Storage pockets on the back of the seats, as well as an optional Blu-ray player. And what's nice about the LTZ model, while you can fold and tumble the seats manually to aid entry into the back seat, these are actually powered, so you can do it two different ways essentially. Simple as that. So like I said, climbing into the back seat is quite simple, especially if you have the option of power folding seats. And then just hoist yourself on in. Now, as far as backseat room in the newer generation Tahoes, my recommendation would be leave it to smaller individuals or even children. While there's not a shortage of headroom at all, I'm 5'11" or so, and I probably have a good 3.5, 4 inches of headspace. It's leg room where it kind of gets pinched. So if you fold this seat back here and even bring it up, you can kind of see where your legs can kind of start to get cramped. But for those who can sit back here, the amenities are quite nice. You do have plentiful amounts of cup holders and storage, power outlet in the back, as well as coat hooks and air vents, not to mention reading lamps up top. Like I said, with the wider opening rear doors, passengers will find a little bit of an easier time climbing into the back of the Tahoe. Using the grip handles, if you need to help facilitate. The doors in the back also have a nice solid feel to them. The first thing you'll notice, while overall interior dimensions really didn't change between the last generation and this 2015, they did better utilize the interior space, giving you a few extra inches of knee room, for example. The seats do have some cutouts here, which help play a part in the extra leg room. But as far as overall interior breathing space, it's exactly what you expect out of a full-size SUV. It's huge. With the extra hardware like the DVD player and the HVAC system and stuff, the headliner sits down just a little bit lower, but wherever your head will rest, they actually cut it out up top to give you a little bit of extra breathing room. Overall interior comfort is very similar to what you would find in the last generation Tahoe. There's not a whole lot of lateral grip to the seats, but they do have a nice amount of padding and support. For lateral grip, they have nice padded armrests right here, as well as the padded one on the door, so it still feels like you're sitting in kind of like a little lounge chair, for example. I do really like the easy placement of the cup holders on the door, especially for children, so you're not having a long way to travel or anything like that, or even reaching down to the center console like with some of the older generations. So I'm going to hop on back in. Like I said, there is a good amount of knee room, with the seat positioned up front for someone of my height. Down in the bottom of the center console, you do have some storage, but up top here on the far right, you have a 12-volt power outlet and an AC outlet on the left, as well as all of your climate control settings and heated seat adjustments. Headphone jack, USB, SD card inputs, as well as AV inputs. The DVD player up top also features LED illumination and a widescreen HD display. And your grip handles up top with coat hooks. And we're going to check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? The passenger seat also features the same power adjustments that you find on the driver's seat. You also have a locking glove box with a good amount of space. The all-new full-size SUV lineup is the best yet. Through evolution, it stays loyal to its tried-and-true roots and customers, keeping a traditional layout but feeding in modern technology as well as convenience. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe LTZ. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.